All right, let's do this thing. So, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well, staying safe and healthy and sane in the midst of safer at home and getting used to this new normal that we're all dealing with. But hope everybody out there is doing well and is healthy and happy. So, we're at week 3 of Thursday night at 8 here. So that means we had to give this thing a name. So we are officially on an episode tonight of Parkside Live. And I'm Andrew Gavin and excited tonight. First time we've kind of taken baby steps here. First night it was just me. The next week we did a conversation with Coach Wahlberg from men's golf. And tonight we're bringing a couple more people to the party here. So we got Coach Kristin Ortman, head coach of the softball program. And then Coach Daniel Esposito, head coach of Parkside Baseball, who we will affectionately refer to the rest of the night as Espo, because that's easier. So welcome, guys. Thanks for spending your evening here.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here.
So before we go too much further, we do want to encourage anybody out there to ask us some questions. We got Sean Daniels, assistant AD of communications and marketing, kind of at the producer role, and he can fire those at us as we go here. So again, thanks for hanging out with us. Just to start, give us a little bit about what life's like for you guys in this state, just what's happening at home. I know we're kind of at different ends of the spectrum in terms of being parents, but we're all parents, but getting used to being at home, working from home, just Kristin, we'll start with you. Just kind of what is life at home like right now for you?
All right. Well, obviously it's so weird being a spring and we don't have softball. And of course the first 2 weeks were really nice weather. So made us miss the sport even more. But yeah, I think we're adjusting to the staying at home and finding lots of things to do. Our little one is 1.5 years, so she keeps us busy in between. My husband's at home too, so we're both working from home, figuring that out and keeping her occupied. And then after the work day, we take lots of walks and try to enjoy the outside. And we're looking at lots of birds and bunnies with the little one, actually. So a little bit of an adjustment from working with the team, but then we're finding creative ways to stay connected with the team through, texts, calls, different challenges, things like that, and trying to find ways to stay connected through this time.
Absolutely. Espo, is it birds and bunnies? With your kids are a little older, so
Yeah,
you may not have to be quite as hands-on as we do right now.
No, they prefer to have some space for me. I mean, we're all cooped up in the same house. My wife, Tammy, she's actually a nurse, so she goes to the hospital and she goes to work every day. And so I'm here with my 2 teenagers, and they're great. I mean, they're doing schoolwork. It's optional, but it's not optional. So I have to be the one there to supervise that, keep them motivated, keep them moving. And just working from home it's a challenge, but it's also, whatever you put into it. So it hasn't been too bad. But staying active and working out a little bit, and spending some time with them and working and kind of getting dialed in on what we need to do for next year. But it's been hard. Going out in public is scary. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but it's trying times and it's not easy. But I think it's crazy because we're all in it together. So it's kind of like not that bad, I guess. Not as bad as you would think it would be. But spending time with family's been good. I miss Parkside. I miss the staff interaction. I miss the other coaches. That's been hard, I think, the separation. And then not seeing my players. That's probably been the hardest thing so far. But it's been good.
Well, on behalf of all of us, certainly thanks to Tammy and everybody in the healthcare industry for what they're doing and getting up and being out there on behalf of all of us, taking care of people. So thank you to her. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about on the field before we get into the abrupt, end of your season. But you guys both had some really great results early on. A quick start for baseball, the sweep at at Upper Iowa. Really good start for softball, opening up 8-3, and then going and playing some of the best programs in the country down south, and some good weather as well. Just what that challenge was, but hung in there great, and bittersweet. But I know like what that would have done for you guys moving forward the season, having the experience of playing some of the nation's best programs. But just give me a little bit of a rundown of your assessment of the season as it was, as you guys were playing games in the first few weeks.
Go ahead, Kristin.
All right. I think for softball, we had such a great start, and we had a strong senior class that was doing a great job leading us. And, we went down to the Rosemont Dome and we beat Winona, who was ranked, and just a regional, like they powerhouse all the time. So that was just a great start to our season. And then we just kept that momentum going as we headed down to St. Louis. And then, as you mentioned, we continued to Georgia, played more ranked teams, and we competed and knew that coming back, like we had challenged ourselves for conference play, knowing that we had Saginaw, Wayne State, and Grand Valley. We competed with high ranked teams that we were going to have a really great conference year. So our team was excited. It seemed like everything was really falling into place. We were strong pitching, strong defense, strong hitting. We had 11 newcomers that were adjusting well. We came back and, we had a week of rest. So really resting our bodies before conference play. And then that's obviously when all this craziness hit. And it was just nuts. Like we were practicing one day, and then the next day we were telling them we needed a team meeting because our season was over and they're going to have to pack up and go home. So obviously super heartbreaking. But prior to that, I think that we were having tons of fun, great team chemistry. And we were super excited to get going in conference play.
And Espo, you guys, I mentioned the sweep down at Upper Iowa, showed some real power at the plate and really had some good results. Just tell us a little bit about the beginning of the baseball season.
Yeah, it was fun. We went down to Springfield, Missouri, and we actually did play pretty good baseball against a really good opponent. They were probably one of the top teams in our region this year. And we went down there. The first game, they got after us pretty good, but then you could see us kind of close the gap game 2 in all 3 phases. And then actually, we had a chance to win the third game on that Sunday. We were up with 2 runs with 2 outs, and we couldn't close them down. So we came out of there 0-3, but we bounced back. We got a great group. I mean, leaders, we're pretty resilient, and we kind of kept things focused on, the positives there. And we rolled into Iowa, and I don't know, it just seemed like from the first at-bat of that weekend to the last at-bat, we were going to hit, and that's kind of what our team needed to do this year anyway, and they did. We swung the bats. We scored a lot of runs, had a lot of extra base hits, and just basically outplayed them. Our pitchers threw strikes. I don't know. I think we committed an error a game, maybe, that series. But we just were locked in and very competitive, and we had a good time. The weather was warm. We had a lot of fans there, a lot of family, and it was a fun weekend. So, I mean, we were really looking forward to continuing to play with this group. They were very committed to each other, very close, fun to be around. And that's kind of one of the staples, I think, moving forward in the future, that I kind of look forward to spending more time with these guys.
So what's interesting about, building that momentum and having it abruptly halt, and all of the heartbreak to that and the emotions to that, when the NCAA put the rule in place to allow spring seniors, if they chose, to have an extra year eligibility. Obviously, you guys at the end of the season, Kristin talked about the team meeting and people starting to scatter, but you're going to follow up with all your players and kind of have those one-on-one conversations with all of them. But you were able to talk to some seniors about whether or not it was in their best interest, the program's best interest to come back. And we've seen, some news since then that some places are allowing that, some places aren't. But I know for both our softball program and our baseball program, you guys are excited about some of those seniors who are electing to come back, and maybe will help with carrying on that momentum of the great start to the softball season, the great trip to Georgia, the great sweep of Upper Iowa, and being excited about conference play. I think, do you feel like having those seniors back helps, get back up to speed quickly, having that leadership, and then just tell us a little bit about who's coming back and who are in those groups? We can keep the same order, Kristin.
Okay.
You can lead off all night here.
All right. Yeah, we have two that it worked in their life plan. They both had planned to go to grad school, and UW Parkside has both of those grad degrees. So we're really fortunate. Allison and Megan, they're going to return and have another go around at their senior year, which they both bring great energy, great leadership. Exactly what you were just saying, that they can help transition us into that next season. Helped build a lot of our culture and our core values, so they can keep leading the team. And their passion for the game is amazing. So they both want to have that extra year, which I know that will be awesome for us. So we're really excited. Unfortunately, others, they had different academic routes. Some got into med school, which is awesome, and they need to pursue that route too. So some will have to continue on that way, which just fits them better. But we're really excited about Al and Meg being able to come back.
So Megan Alberti says hi, by the way. She's watching, so that's good. And yeah, I kind of framed that question about just being excited for those that could come back, but certainly it doesn't make sense for everybody. Everybody in that situation, and so many plans and dreams are ahead of all of our seniors, whether they can come back or not. So it's good that that you supported it either direction to try to understand what's best for them, and we were there for them through that. So thank you for that. Coach, you got a pretty big group coming back, 4 guys, right?
Yeah, we got 4. When we initially met with our last team meeting, I kind of held those seniors back because I thought the NCAA would do something. I talked to them about it. I said, hey, if you guys get an opportunity to come back, we obviously would like you to come back, but whatever's best for you and your academic interest, we're all for it. But and then we had that ruling, which was exciting. I was texting my guys, and they were pumped up. I mean, Ricky West is going to be back for us as a 2-way player. Austin Emmanuel is going to be back as a 2-way player, both on the mound and on the field and hitting for us. Aaron Cusimano is back on the mound for us, and we're just really excited. And one of the guys that I'm really excited about is Casey Oliver. He's going to be going into graduate school. He's actually going to be a 7th year. He got awarded the 6th year last year, and he's going to be a 7th year guy. So you talk about having a catcher and a hitter coming back. Basically, he's a pro, right? I mean, yeah. and it's exciting to have these guys back. I mean, they're good people, they're good leaders, they're good teammates, and we're bringing in some gap fillers, in the 2020 class. Some really good quality young freshmen transfer, and just having those guys around again, to be around our younger players, it just helps. It helps with everything. The way they go about their business, the way they conduct themselves as student athletes. It's just a great example, and we're excited that they're going to come back. And I'm also excited about everyone else, continuing to get a year back. So, our 2021 class was going to be huge, but it's not now because our juniors are juniors, and our 22 class will probably be the big class now. So we've got to kind of put a pause on our recruiting for 2021 and kind of focus on the next class after that. But yeah, I'm excited about the group. It's going to be a good mix.
I've got a few of your guys in class this semester, as they're doing great. I'm probably not the rigorous professor at Parkside. Not that that's in any way for the student athletes only or anything. Not trying to start anything here. But it's fun class. Athletic fundraising. We got to announce the campaign during it. But Aaron's in my class, Cusimano, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him, and he's excited about a career in athletics most likely, and so just kind of talking the business side, the fundraising side with him. And I did run into him. So many of our athletes I didn't see from when the news broke until they scattered, whether they were local or international or anywhere in between. but I did get to run into Aaron, which was nice, and talk about the rule had been changed and the fact that he'd probably be back. So that's really exciting for both programs and those seniors. I think the NCAA takes a lot of heat in a lot of ways, and especially in the public from social media and otherwise. And I think they've made some really good decisions throughout all this, being proactive in making sure everybody's health and safety was the priority, but also doing what's right for those spring seniors and other spring athletes, which has been great. So, you talked a little bit about the abrupt news and, just dealing with that with your team initially. So once that's kind of settled in and everybody understood the situation and got home safely and everything, what have the communications been with you guys and your teams? How have you stayed connected to them? How have they stayed connected to each other through all of this?
We've done a variety of things. Like we use the GroupMe app for our whole team. So we've sent a couple things through there, mostly text messages, a couple video calls. So that's how we've done that. And then I think they've just stayed connected mostly through social media, how they normally do. But yeah, Snapchat, I think, is their main way. But yeah, that's our group has mainly been that. We kind of gave a little bit of a cooling period because obviously so many emotions. Nobody was prepared for this at all. And like we had said earlier, we'd come home, we had such a great start. So, in our meeting, it was so heartbreaking. We're crying and saying goodbye to all the seniors and telling everybody to go pack up their rooms because most likely everything's going to move to online. So I think so many emotions were happening that we kind of came home, just had a little cool down period for our players and our coaches, and then really reconnected and now finding more ways of things that we can do to keep them connected with little challenges and things like that.
What about your baseball guys, Espo?
Yeah, it was heart-wrenching that, the last meeting we had. It almost felt like grief associated with death, So we went through like the whole gamut of emotions that anybody would go through. And I think it's just not being together and not going through the season together. And we've worked so hard the last few months, every day. And the reward is the season, right? I mean, we only get 50 games, and you work so hard. I mean, you practice twice as much as you play. And so it was difficult for the first, week, 10 days. But then slowly, you start communicating a little bit, and we use, like a group text. We've had, group meetings. Today I was with the pitching staff on a video chat talking about, our GA position and what kind of qualities they want to have in a coach there. And, just trying to keep them involved. Been doing grade checks with them. They're doing well in the classroom. It's a little different, of course, experience-wise for them now, but they all seem to be doing fine, and they're kids and they know how to adjust, and that's kind of like spring sports, baseball, softball. We're pretty adjustable, that's kind of what we do. Weather, tarp duty, early morning, late night, it doesn't matter. So it's normal for us to be, adjusting, and they've been good, so far. We're trying to look forward to next year. Trying to talk about the fall and some of the things that we want to do there. And once we get back together, it's probably going to be a celebration. So excited to look forward to that,
Yeah, there's no question about that. I'm going to shift gears here and talk a little bit about Ranger Vision 2020. While I'm pulling up my screen and talking about this, we got a comment from Nick Rana who said if you could find an extra year eligibility for him, he'd come back. That'd be great. Nick's a great young man and a really good pitcher. I don't think that's how it works. So I don't know that it's worth the time to investigate that, but we'll let Nick down easy on that. Nick's a grad. What is he? A May of 2019 grad, I guess, and awesome alum for us. But so Ranger Vision 2020, we announced it in early March. Obviously, was a celebration, exciting time for Parkside athletics. I know we're all thrilled about all the different components and what it can do for our athletes. So interesting timing, of course, and we're excited to push through. We're excited about some of the momentum we continue to have with these projects, both in terms of the facility planning aspects as well as the fundraising side. so we remain excited. That's why we want to keep, showing people our vision and what this is going to do for our programs. So just let's talk about this a little bit. I pulled up one of the photos. We can go through a couple of them. This is the one that shows baseball and softball use. Mostly the holograms are in odd positions. There's somebody catching a fly ball in a batting cage. And I don't know that these people in the bottom left are quote unquote safe. Their backs to the home plate, but nonetheless, I think everybody can get the picture here about what used to be this and will now be this. And just tell me a little bit from both of your perspectives, what does this mean for your programs when we get this thing done to have this resource?
Obviously I think for our program, it's a game changer. In Wisconsin, we practice inside more than we are outside. So right now, we have to go off campus to be part of a turf facility. So for our team to be able to just be on campus and use it during our allotted times, and then also for our players to have that opportunity to go work in there on their own, it's just going to be amazing, especially if we play probably a third of our season on turf too. So, which plays very different than dirt. So to be able to also have that practice time that you're fielding on turf, we're just super excited. And I know the team was super excited when they saw that. I think they're also sick of looking at an empty pool, and they kept saying like, let's make that a turf room, coach. So when it launched, everyone was really excited, and we're ready for it to be done.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Espo, I mean, I know it's similar in a lot of ways. I think one of the things I'm excited about is Kristin mentioned how often our student athletes have to go off campus for practice. And that's not just that they have to go off campus, but that's going off campus in the middle of January and February and the dead of winter, when it's just not the best use of their time. It's not what we want their experience to look like. So just tell me from the baseball program perspective, what you're seeing and thinking about with this facility.
Yeah, this is extremely exciting to have this, like right down the hall from our offices, and being able to utilize this facility. Getting live, playing the game early, in the off season is such an advantage. And for baseball, I mean, you can't really do that in a lot of facilities, and you can't do it in the upper Midwest for sure outside. So this gives us a leg up every day, on our opponents. And I mean, from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, it's gorgeous, and it's helped, give us a little tick, trying to get guys signed to come to Parkside. So, I mean, from a practice standpoint, just being able to do some things right down the hallway and not have to load up my trash can full of baseballs to go off campus, is exciting. But, it's nice. I mean, it's going to be a great space for a lot of our programs. And for us, I mean, hitting, getting live ground balls, scrimmaging, those type of things, you just can't replace that type of thing, and like one live ground ball in a live setting is better than, 50 that I hit to these guys in practice, so it's unbelievable. I mean, I can't wait to get in there and get to work, in there. And I know our players are extremely excited about it. They want to know all the details and the ins and outs of what's going on. And they talk about it a lot, and I think moving forward, it's going to prepare us to have a much better opening, spring season. We'll be able to compete with the top teams in the region for sure right out the gate. So I'm excited about it.
What do recruits, I guess, tell us a little bit about the difference between recruiting now, which we know we have challenges as it relates to our outdoor facilities and having to go off campus to get indoor, as Kristin mentioned. Regardless of our outdoor facilities, a lot of our practices will be indoors anyway in kind of that early stages of the season. So just what has the conversation changed already, just being able to show renderings from how it used to be with the recruit sitting across from you or talking to you on the phone, especially right now, and what it looks like, for you guys now. And pulled up kind of a page that I'll reference here in a second.
I think for us, going back to how you mentioned, having to explain to them that, yeah, we do go off campus, but we have to go off campus because we need that turf facility to practice, where now we don't have to do that. So now we go, as Espo said, 10 feet down the hallway, and we have this beautiful turf facility. And now you can also, sometimes when you're off campus too, it's a little tricky with classes because the travel time, it might have allowed people to not be able to make it there. So now that's not going to be the situation. They can go to class and, get to practice a little bit late, just as if we were out on the field or in the field house. So I think that just all of those aspects, and as I said, like our team loves to even go in and hit on their own. So now having this space just to take ground balls and have the cages, that they're really excited about.
So this page we're showing here, I think it's showing from our website, Sean put up today, just for anyone interested in the project. This is kind of an overview of the elements of this turf center, as well as certainly how you can support the project. So just a quick kind of rundown. It's currently an estate project that they're going to take this facility and take it from a pool and fill it in, make it kind of safe and ready for us to come in afterwards and finish this thing off. And that's why fundraising is so important, is if we're successful, we can do it to every specification that you guys are requesting. As long as we can juggle, the different users, we'll make sure we, have in there what we need to get the job done in practice and recruiting and everything our student athletes need is. And obviously you saw in one of those renderings, it'll be a heavily used facility by our soccer programs as well. And then, the community, we think baseball and softball probably being the leading candidates for this. It's a facility will be in demand, and that'll be exciting too, to continue to bring people to campus. So parksiderangers.com/rangervision2020, you can check out more about that, and certainly feel free to be in touch with us about it. So what do we got here? I'm about out of content. So we got some questions from people, I think. This comes from Coach Moss. I have a feeling one of you set him up for this, and my guess is it's probably Espo, because Kristin was a really good pitcher. And this question is, whose batting average was best in college? So it seems like a loaded question, but I'll ask it anyway from Coach Moss.
Oh, I don't know about average, but I probably hit more home runs than Kristin did.
I was a pitcher only, so Espo had to have a better batting average. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you should have come up with something that was a little less obvious to pay Coach Moss to ask there, Coach. So we also got a question. What do you miss right now? Obviously your players, but just maybe take the season out of it, the obvious, and your players. What do you miss about going to campus every day right now?
I think if we take out the softball team, I think Espo hit on it, seeing our coworkers. We have such a great group that gets along so well, and it's weird not seeing everybody every day. And that's been a real big adjustment. So we took our players and all the coworkers out, which has been a weird adjustment for me.
Yeah, me too. And Andrew, you guys have done such a great job of bringing like such good people to campus, and we have so many on the staff now. And I used to like to just make my rounds down the hallway, say hi. I'm the old guy now. So, just say hi. What are you guys up to? How's everything going? Just hearing, and it's just a lot of good young energy in and around our athletic department. And it's just such a good feeling, and that's why you want to enjoy where you work. And that's definitely what I miss, just being that social outlet with my coworkers, for sure.
No question. I can relate to that. It's one of the reasons I am enjoying doing this and other virtual meetings. I actually find them to be pretty, not just the Thursday night thing, but just meetings in general or a computer. I find them to be pretty engaging, actually. And it's almost more obvious if you look at your phone or look away than even if you're sitting across from somebody sometimes. So I just find myself like totally locked in, which is good. And self-reflecting, I probably need to do a better job when I get back to to campus on that. But all right, so before we let you guys go, we got some rapid fire questions here. So what show or shows are you watching right now, if any? If your TV time is upticked at all, what does that look like?
When we're not trying to entertain summer with cartoons, I think HGTV, I've probably watched all of the shows that I could on there. I've not jumped on the Netflix train at all yet, so.
That means you got some material stored up if this thing lasts a little bit longer. That's good. What about you, Espo?
Netflix has been, good to us. Ozark 3, my wife and I are currently on Good Girls, which isn't a bad, show. We watched Tiger King, I'm ashamed to say.
You're not alone.
American Idol has been a big hit at our household with the kids too. So yeah.
There you go. Any other new hobbies or things you're doing that you just, obviously right now you guys wouldn't have time to do anything but say hi to your family every now and then in the heart of the season, but anything you're doing right now with your time that you wouldn't be doing otherwise?
That's a tough one. Again, Summer and I do a few more art projects. We're tackling the finger painting, coloring, that, and lots of walks. We try to get outside since we can't really leave the house. We just do walks.
Yeah. For me, no. I still coach my kids. I'm out of them. Like they're like, I make them call me coach, I'm just kidding. But we've been going to the ball field and throwing them BP, and that's how I get my fix, working with them. It's fun. So, we're trying to take advantage of this time and, try to keep them moving in the right direction. So,
absolutely. Most memorable moment as a college player?
Probably making the NCAA tournament. That would be mine. How about you, Espo?
Well, yeah, I guess, when we got accepted into the Central region for the first time at our school. That was a long time ago, 1997.
I thought you were thinking pretty hard there to get your mind back all the way. Kristin was ready for that one, but
I know.
In your defense, it doesn't take a whole lot to be the young guy on our staff. We got a lot of babies running around there. It makes me feel old too. So, let's see. Favorite athlete growing up?
Ooh, probably Jenny Finch. For me, that's.
Yeah. Pete Rose early, and then it kind of turned into Tony Gwynn, later in my teenage years. So,
and then the last thing I just got one added to the mix here. Favorite late night go-to snack?
Frozen Twix.
All right.
Yeah, anything in the fridge, leftovers.
Yeah. I've got some bad eating habits going right now. There's no doubt about it. And then last one, favorite sports movie?
Ooh, probably Major League.
I think I like Bull Durham the best.
There you go.
You can't beat that guy.
I love it. Sticking with sports. That's good. I guess that was the question. Well, we'll let you guys get out of here. Appreciate you spending time with me tonight on Parkside Live and letting us see you and connect with you and hear a little bit about what's going on in softball and baseball. I know I certainly appreciate your leadership through this time. It's been interesting, but being there for our student athletes and continuing to lead the programs through recruiting and everything else you're doing. Thank you for that. From me and on behalf of all of us with the Rangers. So, but thanks for joining us and be well, stay safe, and hopefully we'll be back together soon.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching and hanging out with us tonight. Have a good night.